Alrighty guys, how you doing today? Steve-O's doing pretty good, all things considered. Here in sunny Florida. Boy, is it windy today, guys. Woo! It's blowing like crazy. We got storms coming in. But it's better than Michigan. Yeah, way down there, temps. It's beautiful today. I love it. I've been out here shooting the longbow. Just thought I'd take a break and touch base with you guys. Just got off the horn. Well, I sold some bees. Let me back up. Sold some bees. 5 units heading up to Gary. Come and got 5 hives. They're heading up to Cedar Key. And I gave him the Yeti head. I had the Yeti head. You probably saw it on the video. I told him, I said, you need this for your man cave at the hunting shack. He's got a hunting cabin up there in Cedar Key, loaded with pigs and deer, turkeys. Anyway, so he was thrilled with that. He's got a Yeti head. My hunting buddy, I said, I called him. I said, it's done. It's completed. He said, well, I don't need it now. I'm going to go back. He said, just give it away. I said, listen, bro, I got all the work in this thing, and you never left a deposit. Oh, don't worry. You know me. He said, you know me. Yeah, I said, that's what scares me. I know you. He said, you got a check coming this afternoon. I'll overnight the check to you. I said, where are you at now? He said, I'm going back down to kill some more. This guy's kill crazy, guys. Kills all these weird exotic critters and stuff. I don't know. I think he's down there hitting the crack pipe with Hunter is what I think's going on. But I'm not sure. Who knows? But anyway. So yeah, we got some bees. I got to sell some more bees here in a week on the, going back in on the 15th, which is Thursday. And Valentine's Day, guys. Make sure you get your sweetheart a Valentine card or something, okay? Take her out for dinner. You know, show her you appreciate her, you know? Anyway, going back in on the 15th and going on a queen hunt, looking for more queens because I did those splits, and some of those splits, I didn't know where the queen was at. I just busted them up equally, and so I got to go back in and find out if she's in there or they're at cells. They've started cells. So if I see eggs in there, I know I got a queen in there. Another for sale sign's going on that one. So that's how we roll with that. But anyway, I just called Morgan & Morgan, the attorney office, the big time attorney here in Florida. And I guess, I don't know how many states he's in, I don't know, but he's one. I said if anybody would know what's up, John Morgan probably would, right? All he does is advertise on TV. They just wear you out with advertisements. So I said, let's call this guy up. So I called him up. I explained to the little girl that picked up the phone what my situation was. You need to talk to an attorney. So then I got shifted over to a guy, and his accent, it sounded like kind of like an Indian accent. I couldn't hardly hear. I said, sir, and he's talked fast. I said, sir, I'm just a slowed down Florida cracker here. I said, slow down, number one, slow down. And with your accent, I can't hardly understand what you're saying. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. And so then he kind of changed it up. His language kind of got tweaked and turned on a little bit so I could understand him. I don't know, but anyway, I started understanding him. And he said, well, what is the problem? I told him, I said, listen, 74-year-old male. I said, my doctor had me on hypertension medication forever, 20 years or more. And I asked him, what can I do to get off of this stuff? Because I'm developing muscle issues. And the last time I checked, sir, the heart is a muscle. I was getting forearm muscle issues, weakness, tenderness. Same way with my legs, and that it's not as bad, guys, as the cholesterol medication. That cholesterol medication is just total garbage and a scam, I told the doctor. That's when I told you before, the top of their head almost blew off when I told them that one. And it is, guys, it's a friggin' scam. You know, and the government's all behind this stuff. They got their back, this and that. Everybody's getting paid off. We're collecting stolen, embezzled money from these different countries. These politicians are making a bloody fortune, and here we are taking it in the backside. Yes. I'm the government, and I'm here to help. Yeah, right. Okay. Let's start running the other direction. Okay, guys? And this is nothing political. Some people come on my channel. If you just stay to the beekeeping stuff and cut the religious and political crap, you know, you'd do a lot better. And I just tell these people, you need to go ahead and move on. How about that? You need to move on and get real and get in the real Steve-O world that you are entering. Because once you start entering Steve-O's world, we're going to get real, okay? So I told this guy, listen, I didn't like what my doctor told me. You are hooked on this drug for life. You have hypertension. There's no backing up. There's no you got to stay the course, buddy. Oh, really? Yeah, you got to stay the course, because I'm King Dookie of Turd Hill. Yeah, Okay, doc. So I start listening to other doctors. And I'd heard something about carnivore. This is years ago, because, you know, I've been on carnivore a long time. And I started listening to these guys. And I actually had a little communication via emails with Dr. Berry. Now he's too busy to do. He ain't talking to hardly anybody that I am aware of, other than his YouTube stuff. He chit-chats on, you know, on these videos he does. But anyway, I told this guy, I said, I started doing my own investigation, and to my surprise, that a carnivore diet would regulate the body again, reset the body, the human body, reset it, and come to find out, the carnivore diet is the proper human diet. And they go into detail on it. I said that to my doctor. He said, that's silly nonsense. I said, how would you know, doc? You got about 2 leaflets when you were at med school on nutrition. You guys are all about pumping drugs. That's where the money is. It's not about telling people you need to eat a proper human diet and stuff will start tuning itself up on its own. So yeah, so Steve-O started experimenting, and I started noticing I'm feeling a little better, this and that. And the cravings started getting there, but I started learning about hacks on the cravings. Like if you're really super, you know, you got a craving for sweet stuff, which you will, because sugar's addictive as cocaine. We all know that. If you don't know that, you've only got probably 2 or 3 brain cells left, like Joe. They're short-circuiting, okay? So anyway, get off the sugar, all that, which I did, and it's just pure protein and fat. Get the fattiest ribeyes you can get. If you don't have a fat enough steak, get butter, real butter, not margarine, real butter, and eat some butter with that meat that's not got a lot of fat on it. If you got a cheaper cut, you can eat butter and we'll get the fat content up, ratio, butter and protein up. Experiment. Your body is going to tell you what's up and tell you how to tune this up. So I told this young lad from India, here's my situation. I said I was off hypertension medication when I went on carnivore for quite some time. I noticed my pressure was coming down. My doctors never said nothing about a proper human diet because they don't know. But with my own experimentation, I discovered this. And I got off, my blood pressure was starting to come down. I started feeling lightheaded. I said, my blood pressure's coming down. You can read your own body, guys. Just listen to it. So I started monitoring my blood pressure, and sure enough, it was coming down, down, down. I said, told Miss Daisy, what the hell am I doing on blood pressure medication? She said, well, try to go off it. Let's see what happens. So I did. I started going every other day, take a pill every other day. And then I went like every 3 days and every 4 days and so on. And I finally said, screw it, I'm going off it totally. And I was fine for 2 years, guys, 2 years. Then comes along, I told this attorney, then comes along the fake Fauci shot. 2 of those and a booster. And I said, they no sooner jabbed me with that stuff, and I knew there was a problem. But listening to these people, Joe said right on national TV, you take the shot, you won't get COVID. Right, yeah. Well, listen to that dude. My gut feeling should have said, no, don't listen to this dude. No, don't listen to him. There's a problem. Yeah, everything out of his mouth is a problem. Just like Obama told it. He sat there on national TV, guys, told everyone, I can tell the American people anything and they will believe it. Way back in the day when he was starting to run, Obama, I call him Old Bummer, when he started to run his first term, Miss Daisy said, I like the way he talks. I said, oh, he's a smoothie. He's a con man, I told her. He's a con man. I said, you don't know a con man when you see one? How do you know he's a con man? I said, well, I'll tell you a little story, honey. I started pumping gasoline at a gas station for my dad back in the day, and I was a young lad. And Dad told me. And he'd leave me at the gas station, guys, by myself to run that whole thing. He says, son, watch him. In this business, you're going to meet every crook in the world. Yes, you are. There's quick change artists. There's BSers. You'll meet them all. So be very careful. My profit margin is very tight on this gasoline. I barely pay the freaking light bill around here and buying more fuel to run this operation. The way we made money back in the day, he would buy these cars that had, he called them turkey ads. He was the first one on and opening up the newspaper, and he'd go down through there fast. He could look and see these cars for sale. He'd call them. He saw a car that he knew could move. Call them up. Okay, what's wrong with it? Well, this one is the engine seized up. Well, tell me about that. Well, I had a mechanic tell me about that, and he tried to sell me a new motor. And Dad was saying, well, what happened prior to that? He would quiz him a little bit, right? And then, okay, I'm coming over to look at it. And he'd hang up and he'd look at me. He said, there's a turkey ad. That's a turkey ad. And I said, what do you mean a turkey ad? What do you mean a turkey ad, Dad? Let's go check it out and I'll explain it to you. So we can go over there. She said, like this one woman, she had a vehicle. She says, the motor seized up. The man told me the motor seized up. I got to get, so Dad says, can I look? Sure, go ahead. If you want to buy it, you can buy it. His dad said, well, I'm a mechanic, and I can fix a lot of things. So he popped the hood, and I was sitting there leaning over the hood there, over the fender with him, looking in the hole. And Dad reaches down and grabs the harmonic balancer, right? And he's turned, motor wasn't seized, guys. Motor wasn't seized. It was the starter locked up. He knew it, because he went in and hit the switch, and it just went clunk. He knew that stuff. He turned that harmonic balancer, which rolled the motor. He just looked over at me with kind of a smile. He said, ma'am, yeah, you're right. He said, but I'm a mechanic, I can fix it. So what do you want for it? And they'd say, and he'd sit there and go, well, I got to put a lot of money in this thing, yada, 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 yada. And they go, well. He'd get the car guys for a little and nothing. We'd take that thing back to the shop. He'd fix the starter on it. If the engine was a little rattly, he'd have me drop the oil pan and drop the rods drop the rod caps out. And first he'd get under there with a hammer, and he would tap those rods back and forth on that crankshaft. He could see how much slop was in there just a tap of a hammer, just a little tap. He could see this movement in there. Okay, he said, drop that rod cap out of there, and here's some punches. I want you to make a mark top and bottom. I don't want this thing cap switched when we take it out. So we'd mark it. I'd mark it. We'd take it out. He had shim stock. He'd take the bearings out of that thing, guys, and he knew just how much shim stock. He had them different thicknesses, and he'd cut it with a pair of scissors and slide in and put that bearing back in there and put it back up and tighten it up. We never used torque wrenches back in the day. He said, you run it up there where you think it's tight, and then I'll check it. And he'd get up in there with a wrench, and he'd push on it. And he knew exactly how much pressure to put on that rod cap. And then he'd take a hammer again and touch it and see the movement in that thing. He said, that's good. Let's go to the next one. So we go down, repair ends. That's how we made the money in that gas station. So yeah, that's how we made money in the gas station. So anyway, I learned a lot, guys. I learned to read people in that gas station. Every kid in the world ought to be going to pump gas for a living. And you got to wash the windows too, because it was full service, back in the day. So not only you got to pump the gas and check the oil if they want it. I always tried it. He said, push that oil. Try to get under that hood. Don't be popping off them radiator caps either. No, don't be screwing with those hot engines. You're going to fry yourself with the steam coming off that radiator. Don't screw with that. Check the transmission, and then check the engine oil and see if you can't sell them a quart of oil. Don't cheat, he said. Now, if they're low, if it's a quart low, here's how to tell. Try to move some oil. That's another way we make money around here. I said, okay, Dad. So I did. I moved the crap out of oil too. Anyway, that's where old Steve-O started to learn and read people and know BSers when he sees them. Then, of course, hanging out with Dad, I got to be a pretty good BSer myself. Just watching the master, Anyway, so I know the masters when I see them, and then when I seen this Joe and this phony Fauci shot, take the jab and you won't get COVID. Well, I got COVID after I took I wasn't going to take the jab. Miss Daisy talked me into it. So it wasn't long after, here I'm back on hypertension medication. So that's what I told this attorney. Told him the story. I said, listen, here's how it went down. He says, sir, I'm sorry to hear this. I said, yeah, well, as soon as you said that, I just knew I'm screwed. He said, well, you pretty much said it there. I said, okay, so we've had our government, we've had Fauci lied to us. We've had, and our government's covering his backside. And so all these people, thousands of them, have now got issues with the jab. He says, I feel very sorry for you, sir. So yeah, I mean, it is crazy what's going on. I talk to people all the time, and they say this guy he had to get stents in. This guy had a heart attack. This one's died. That one's died because of the jab. Right after the jab. So it's affecting people in all different ways. Of course, we're all different. It's going to affect people all differently. But these guys have made a bloody fortune off of our dumbasses by talking us into this stuff. So, sorry to bring anybody down today. I like to uplifting in Steve-O's world, but it is what it is. And I don't know, that's about it for today. I will see you guys probably Thursday. Picking up Martin, him and I are going to dive back into the boxes. All the boxes that we found queens in, we marked, and I sold today. And I've got some others out here that are marked with queens in them. But we're going to go back in. We did splitting 50-50. And I'm waiting on the 5th will be 5 days. So we'll go in there the 15th. We'll go in there and see if we got eggs or ripe queen cells. If we don't have eggs, we'll have ripe queen cells because we left back eggs. So we'll have, starter cells going on in there. We'll carefully put them back. We'll pull a frame from the outside edge of the box carefully and then move inward and look for eggs or peanuts. Peanuts will be queen cells. We'll look for that as we move through. We see peanuts, queen cells, ease it back down like you're handling nitroglycerin because those things are very sensitive. You jar that and you're going to damage that queen that's in that cell. All right. So handle them like they're kryptonite, just nitroglycerin, whatever. Very carefully, in and out. Don't jar them. Don't drop the frame. They get tougher. Those queens get tougher as they get ready to emerge. But when they're very fragile, you can knock them off the top and they'll fall down and drown. That larva will drown. And it's no good. The hive will crash because they've got nothing to work with in there. Whatever cells, queen cells they made, they could make 2 or 3. They may make a half a dozen. Backup units. When that queen emerges in 16 days, she'll come out, chew open those other ones, and kill her sisters. So there's only one queen. Then she'll roam around in there, get nice and strong for 3-4 days. Then she'll go out on her mating flight. She'll get gangbanged. She'll come back. I mean gangbanged by maybe 4 up to 15 drones. And she may make several trips out to do this. But when she finally comes back to the colony, it's 4 or 5 days after she starts laying eggs, fertile eggs. And then the whole process, you're looking at 30 days. It was 2-8 when we dove into those colonies, 2-8. So, yeah, by the time we get back in there, we should have some nice ripe queen cells in there. So, we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep you posted, and good luck. Good luck with your COVID shot. Hopefully no harm is done to you. The only issue I have with it so far is the hypertension. And it's nothing to do with my lifestyle. My lifestyle hasn't changed. We do not eat carbs anymore. We do not drink alcohol of any kind. Oh, have a glass of wine, Steve-O. It's great. No, it's not. No, it's not. Turns to sugar. Elevate blood sugar, elevate hypertension. We don't want it. You get the sugar in there, you feed cancer. I've already had cancer once, don't want it again. Bye-bye cancer. We don't want you. No, no, no. Yeah, so anyway, that's all I got for you today. God bless you. Be happy, be strong. We got to keep getting it on, and I'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye. Was aiming at the little green ball instinctively. No sights. Just Steve-O, eagle eye. Steve-O is getting better. Thank God.